Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. Unfortunately, we're now seeing a total meltdown with all markets after this huge CPI data release. So what was just announced that was so bad? What made inflation skyrocket this last month? And what can we look forward to at the next rate hike? Let's discuss all these things and more. So let's get to it. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you hit that notification bell to get notified of all my streams. Follow me on social media. Check out CryptosRUs.com and check out my other channels as well. Good morning, guys. Welcome, welcome, welcome. 1 minute before the market bell, you can see right now, futures market turned red, bloody, minus 600 for Dow. Minus almost 400 for NASDAQ. And there we go. The market just opened. There's the market bell. And this happened with Bitcoin. That's a very sharp drop, immediate drop, right? An entire crypto market cap looks like this right now. Literally everything is in red, right? So total meltdown right now. So what was so bad? What was so bad with the CPI data that just came out? Well, most anticipated that inflation was going to slow down and maybe even reverse with this last reading from August. Unfortunately, we did not see that. We did not see that. The biggest thing people were looking at was the core inflation, excluding food and energy, which was thought that it was going to go up by 0.3%, but instead it doubled that. It went up by 0.6%. So obviously core inflation is still heading upwards. Overall CPI went up about 0.1%. So, I mean, putting it into context, 0.1% is not anything huge. It's still 8.3%, right? So it's not like it went up 1% or 2 percentage points or whatever, right? But what this means is inflation is still on the rise, right? And that means that Chair Powell, he is going to continue to be hawkish because he said as much. He said he would be paying attention to the overall economy. And as long as demand is strong, as long as labor force is strong, he's going to continue to be very, very hawkish and very aggressive with the rate hikes until he sees there's significant turnaround with inflation. And that's not what we're seeing right now. We're not seeing that at all. So that is why we're seeing what we're seeing now, right? And looking at, this is the overall, like kind of like the whole CPI data broken down into certain categories, right? Certain ones went up really high in August. For example, food went up by another 0.8%, and it has been going up. You can see going back to February, right? Food has been going up 1%, 0.9, 1.2, 1, 1.1, 0.8, and overall went up 11.4%. It adds up, so it's going up quite tremendously. So food didn't come down. You look at energy did, mostly because gasoline went down quite a lot, right? So energy went down, but energy services still went up. It went up by 2.1%. That means electricity, gas, like, natural gas, right? These kind of service companies that are delivering to your home has gone up quite a lot in August, and overall went up about 19.8% for the year. That is huge. I just realized that my thing is cut off a little bit here, but you guys can see what I'm seeing. Yeah, and then other things, measures new vehicles and cars still going up 0.5, 0.8%. That didn't change. Shelter went up. Shelter, transportation, medical services all went up 0.7, 0.5, 0.8%, right? So outside of just fuel and gasoline, which went down significantly, everything else continued to go up. up and up and up and up, which is why we are still at that 8.3% CPI. So it's just not a good reading. It's not a good reading at all. And this is going to make Chair Powell really move forward with his hawkish stance, right? And, CME here is predicting this next rate hike that's coming up. And right now, 86% is predicting that this next rate hike in a couple weeks will be 75 basis points. But after today's reading, now there's 14% chance that Powell could just go up to 100 basis points, which would be out of control, really. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But it was at 99% for 75 basis points, and now we have 14%, at least traders or CME think, there's a 14% chance he might just go bonkers and say, oh, let's just do 100 basis points, right? So that is the current reading. And, we got what? Actually, it's not a couple weeks. It actually, in fact, is only 1 week. The next Fed meeting is September 21st. So we only got 7 more days until this next meeting, and then we will see what they decide and how hawkish they want to be. And this is not the only meeting for the remainder of the year. There will be another one in November and another one in December. So, so there's a lot of meetings left. And what else happened because of the inflation data? Well, DXY shot up. DXY was going in the right direction. You look at the last 5 days, went from 110, 111 all the way down to 107 until this morning. Boom, DXY went up significantly because of the CPI data. And you may be wondering, why would the DXY go up? Why would the dollar strengthen when inflation shows that, when inflation data shows inflation still going up? Why would DXY go up, right? And I was thinking about it. Well, it kind of makes sense because what Wall Street and traders are thinking are, well, the United States, if we're suffering this type of inflation, despite all the things that we've been doing, well, other countries are going to have it worse than us. So that is why they're flocking into DXY, right? So when the DXY goes up, traditionally speaking, not good for equities or for crypto, right? And it was coming down. A lot of people were thinking, okay, inflation was going to get better. More dovish stance coming from Powell. More money is going to be flowing into equities and crypto, right? It has been coming down. And then, boom, we're right back up this morning. So not good overall. Treasury yields also skyrocketed this morning, right? Treasury yields always surprise me. Like, it's counterintuitive to what you think it should do. Treasury yields go up when there's lack of demand, right? And you would figure right now there would be a lot of demand, but no, there's not. I think it shot up because basically the Treasury is thinking that, well, people are going to spend less, right? They're going to preserve their money. They're not going to try to buy a 10-year bond or 30-year bond right now, right? Which is why the rates are going up. But the problem with that is the rates also affect other things like housing. It affects mortgages quite a lot and affects rent and everything to do with housing. So unfortunately, Treasury yields also skyrocketed this morning, and that's not good either. All right, let's refresh here. We're closing in at negative 700, so not good. Bitcoin is still around 21.3. We haven't seen a good bounce yet. We're hoping that we do find some sort of bottom today, right? Like we were hovering here before we started really trending upwards, right around 21,000. So I'm hoping that we do find some kind of local bottom. You could see like on a 15-minute scale, RSI is really low, right? You could see that it's down here about 23. So hopefully we could see some kind of bounce here, right? But overall this morning, obviously what's happening is the CPI data and U.S. inflation and just not good overall. It's not good overall, and it's scaring the hell out of everyone, the Jesus out of everyone, right? But the thing to remember is the reason why we're in the situation we're in is because of the careless printing that the U.S. Treasury did, that the Fed, approved, or the U.S. Congress approved, and all these other countries approved, right? That's why inflation is so high. We're at 8.3% in the U.S. We're above 10% in the U.K., or close to 10% in U.K. Eurozone is also close to 10% and rising. And there's many other countries that's suffering a lot more than that. But you know what? Why we turn to Bitcoin is because Bitcoin's inflation rate right now is at 1.8%. And after the next halving event, it's going to be cut down to 0.9%, right? So even though Bitcoin short term has not done that well, it's important to remember that at these times, right, during these harsh times, during these times of hyperinflation, people turn to assets that don't inflate, that don't have an infinite supply, that the government doesn't have a printer that can just print endlessly, right? And that is Bitcoin. And that's why we stay in Bitcoin. And that's why holders continue to hold Bitcoin and DCA. So keep that in mind. Outside of that, there's everything else seems irrelevant this morning. Voyager has an auction today. It could be Binance, it could be FTX, it could be Ripple Labs, it could be anyone that's buying Voyager assets today. Okay, I don't know what that means for users. I don't know if whoever buys it buys the assets will hand it back. Probably not, right? It seems like either way, users are screwed. Ethereum, now 99.76% of the merge is ready to go, I guess. The clients, the wallets, everyone is good to go. So that's the big news that's overshadowed by what's going on right now. But as soon as today, we could have the merge happen. Today or tomorrow, we're having that big merge, been hyped up, very anticipated for a very long time. That is about to happen, right? So again, being overshadowed by what's going on right now. But yeah, there's a few other things going on. Overall, let's see, the entire crypto market cap. Here's the encouraging thing. Even though with today's decline, and I know it's a setback for sure, but even with today's decline, the global market cap is still above 1 trillion. We were at 1.06 trillion yesterday. We're at 1.02. In grand scheme of things, that's pretty good, because just a few weeks ago, we were still below 1 trillion. We were at like 960, right? 960, 980 at some point. So we're still above 1 trillion. And that overall is a win. We have a little setback today, right? Obviously, a lot of fear going on this morning, but not all is lost. So don't give up. Continue to stay strong, my friends. All right, let's do some Q&A. All right, let me scroll through the chat here. CZD Tool says, I just read the toilet bowl and it shows a massive dump. Need that kind of humor this morning. Let's see. Dan says, just woke up, saw the BTC dump, plenty of opportunity to buy more ETH and Bitcoin and crypto. Overall, yes. Let's see here. There's a new George. That's a new member. Welcome. Welcome. Greetings from Saudi Arabia. Welcome also. John says, not buying ETH right now, too risky. ETH has cooled down quite significantly. So this is ETH's chart. Looks just like Bitcoin's chart, but you can see it topped out right around here. About 1,800, a little bit less than 1,800. And this was a few days ago. And it just stopped. And that's because people are anticipating that maybe after the merge, it could dump, right? And I think that's why people stopped buying. But overall, it's been doing better the last 2 months, and we will see. Regardless of short-term price action, I do think Ethereum is definitely going to benefit a whole lot from this merge. So I guess we'll see afterwards. The SPX, look at that big drop. Boom. SPX, the big drop. Tesla did a big drop. I mean, everything is dropping today. Literally, MicroStrategy is a huge drop. Man, MicroStrategy is like it's like a 2x Bitcoin spot ETF. Because whatever Bitcoin does, MicroStrategy pretty much does 2x of it. So Bitcoin being down about 4%, MicroStrategy is down 9%. Vasil. Hey Jordan, I'm keeping my ETH on Aave through the Avalanche network. Do I keep WETH or swap it for ETH? I mean, either way, WETH should follow ETH, so it really shouldn't matter. But in my opinion, if you're not using WETH for anything, then convert it back to ETH, right? But the two should be pegged 1-to-1. Although there was a period where WETH was not pegged to ETH 1-to-1, and that cost Celsius quite a lot. There was a depeg on Lido months ago. So if you're not staking it, then convert it back. Well, you've been listening to Twitter Spaces with Sailor in 15 minutes. No, unfortunately. Supposed to be some announcement. I mean, I don't know what Sailor is going to announce other than we know he's going to be selling $500 million worth of shares, right? But it's going to be harder for him to sell $500 million shares. I hope he already sold it and it's, he has to announce it afterwards, because it's going to be very hard for him to sell $500 million worth of shares when MicroStrategy is down 9% right now. So if it's down 9% and he's selling $500 million worth of shares, that means he has to sell more shares. It's going to add to more sell, pressure, and it's just not the right time. We would love for him to buy that $500 million of Bitcoin. The only thing that would be very surprising is if he came out and said, you know what, I'm going to do it, but this time around I work with Coinbase and I'm going to be buying on spot market. I don't care if I have to get a little bit less of Bitcoin and pay a little bit more, but I'm going to buy on spot. If that happens, we're going to see a tremendous turnaround. But I don't think that's going to happen. Other than that, I don't know what else you could say. Let's see here. Hedera stays strong. Is this caused by LG? It could be. I mean, some of the crypto, haven't moved in quite a lot. So if they don't move, they don't go down as much either. So Hedera is one of them. Sailor always buys at the wrong time. I think this time around, he did not buy yet. He was just pre-announcing he is going to be buying soon after he sells his shares. But, I don't know how you could sell your shares after today. How will this underestimation affect the used auto market? You know what? It's actually broken down. I'm actually quite surprised. Used cars and trucks, this is being tracked. In August, it actually went down by 0.1%. Outside of energy, the only other market that went down is the used car market. The new car market went up by 0.8%. That shouldn't even be possible. How could new cars go up by 0.8%, you ask? Well, because dealerships are marking them up. I mean, it should not go above MSRP, right? So that doesn't even make any sense. But used cars, I mean, It went down by 0.1%, but it's still outrageous. Someone said, whenever Sailor says he's go buy, this happens. It does seem like that there's a correlation there. BTC daily RSI, stochastic RSI show a bigger dump coming. Let's see. I doubt it. Well, stochastic is topped out, but RSI didn't breach 70s, so not really. MACD is now turning, right, getting softer because of what happened today, but we could still certainly see that turnaround. On the weekly, RSI is still low. On the higher time frames, I say the stochastic becomes a little bit less relevant. RSI becomes more relevant, and RSI on the weekly scale is dirt low. And more importantly, on the monthly scale, RSI has never been this oversold, this low, right? And MACD is turning above. You could see right here. Look at the MACD trying to turn, right? So on a monthly scale, things are still looking great. Weekly scale looking great. Day, so-so, but there's more room to grow. But obviously, shorter time frames like 15 minutes and hour show extreme oversoldness. So looking for that bottom, that local bottom, and a decent bounce. Tesla's increasing price, not surprising, new cars going up. I mean, first of all, the whole thing is not just on Tesla, but yeah, I mean, parts, commodities are going up. It's more expensive to buy aluminum and iron and the chips and everything, right? And rubber for tires, so obviously cars are going up too. George, the CEO of Coinbase was talking about flat coins. You mean fiat coins? Stable coins that keep pace with inflation. Thoughts? Ever heard of these? No. Stable coins are already backed by USD. So that keeps pace with inflation. Or are you talking about something that hedges against inflation, like Bitcoin? Then it wouldn't be known. It wouldn't be called as a flat coin. I don't quite know. I never heard that terminology before. Dan, you can't. What I've learned is you can't say never ever again, right? I've been burned too many times by saying that. But what you're asking is there any way we could go lower? Yes, we could. Is it likely? For me, I say no. But can it happen? Yes. I'll check out the All In podcast. I haven't listened to them for quite some time. XRP is a great buy today. Well, if you're XRP army, it's a great buy every day because it just doesn't move every day. Dean, that's a factual statement. I mean, yeah. Inflation is a real bitch. It's quite, I was just explaining it to my family the other day, and how all this works and all the dots and everything connected together. And it seems very difficult, but it's really not. I mean, there's all these things that we look at and all these things that we have, I don't know, as models or guides, kind of telling us what we should do and what's coming and all this stuff, right? But really, if you break down inflation, it's just measuring how much something goes up by or goes down by in terms of the price, right? So if you have, let's say, the Starbucks cup that costs you $8 today to buy, how much is it going to cost you to buy next year? Is it still going to be $8 or is it going to be $8.25 now or $9, right? And let's say it does go up to $9 next year. What caused it to go up, right? Is it because Starbucks can't produce enough of these? Or is it because demand for these cups are too high? Both would cause the price of this to go up. Also, the material that Starbucks uses and the ink that Starbucks uses, right? Did that get more expensive? So these are all the things that cause prices to go up or down. And right now, right, we're getting all three in the wrong direction. It's costing Starbucks more money to produce this cup, which is why they had to raise prices. Demand is still high because consumers got an endless and boatload of money last year and continues to do so this year too. Student loans were just forgiven basically for many Americans, right? Now they have more money to go spend on things. So demand is still high and supply is still low because we have supply chain issues. So you have all these three things added together. Well, of course, prices of things are going to go up. Prices of energy and food and housing and transportation, everything is going up, which is why we're in the situation we're in right now. And let's not forget, the fourth reason why is because the number of dollars out there has increased by 40% in over the last 2 years. That's something that normally people don't talk about, but when you have the supply of money go up by 40%, well, that debases everyone else's, right? That makes everyone else's dollars become less valuable, which is why prices also go up because of it. So you got all these things that's counterintuitive right now to a healthy economy, let's say, and that's the situation we're in, and that's why Powell has to try to fix things. But the only thing he could do is raise rates. That's it. There's nothing else he could do. He can't decrease the price of things. He can't do anything other than raise rates and try to curb demand. He can't fix supply chain issues. He can't fix cost of items going up, supply going up, cost of supply going up, and all these other things at play. So his hands are very tied and limited, which is why everyone is so fearful of higher rates. You know, it's like that's the only thing he could do. And if he does it too much so, then it throws the economy in a worse position when we go into deep recession or even depression, when everyone is broke and has no money to spend on anything. And then that's even worse, right? And that's going to cause the Fed and the governments to print out even more money, which again adds to the inflation problem. That's why it's not a good ideal situation, but not being all gloomy and doomy and saying Armageddon is around the corner, but we were making progress. Things were starting to improve. This last month in August, we had a little setback. Today, we're seeing it, right? But it does not mean that we're going to continue to have setbacks every single month. Next month, when we have a CPI reading, it could show the reverse happen, right? For September. So this is 1 month. It's important to remember that we had a little bit of setback. We're waiting for that peak or reversal of inflation. We haven't really seen it yet. We're seeing a slowdown for sure, but we haven't seen a real reversal, and that is what we're waiting for. What platform is best for staking Cardano? The Yori Light wallet, which is a web wallet. It's really easy to use. I'm about to release a guide on it, on how to use it and how to stake, but look at that. Daedalus is like a full-blown desktop wallet. You could use that as well. LA Sir Order 66. Yeah, we did have bad news. Maybe you want to rewind a little bit. We need new money injections in the market. The economy currently lacks velocity. That is true. But you know what? They can't generate more velocity right now because of inflation. Unfortunately, we have all these negative things that's still ongoing that's causing inflation to rise, right? So there's no way we can have new money injection into the market right now. There's a tremendous amount of money sitting on the sidelines. Wall Street pulled out so much money over the last 8 months or 9 months, but there's no way the Fed can stimulate more velocity by printing more money or by buying more bonds, putting more on the balance sheet. That's exactly the opposite of what they're trying to do. How's Harmony doing financially? Probably not good. I don't know how the burn rate of Harmony, but they just lost $100 million and they haven't recovered that. So financially, they're not doing very well. Well, it looks like U.S. markets have stabilized somewhat. Dow is holding at negative 650. NASDAQ holding about negative 400. Bitcoin still showing more weakness. Right now, we still haven't found that reversal point. Can we find it right here, which is where we are, 21.1? We had a little bit of a support level formed over here. Hopefully, we can bounce off of that. Omar said, I wanted to take profit thinking today was going to be a big pump. This crash is making me depressed. Well, you're not alone. Today is definitely a setback. A lot of people was looking for better things, and I thought better things were going to come today too. All signs pointed to a good CPI data reading, but unfortunately we got hit with a surprise. We have a little setback, right? But again, not all is lost. Don't give up all hope. We haven't retraced all the way back to our previous lows or even to 2 weeks ago, right? The entire market is weaker today, but don't give up hope. We will get back. We will get back, and we will get through this. And the reason why people are still holding on to Bitcoin is because of the things that we're seeing right now. Because Bitcoin doesn't inflate whenever it wants to. It's governed by code. There's a set supply. You can't apply monetary easing, okay? You can't just print trillions more. And Bitcoin is global. It's not just dictated by the US. It's a global asset that anyone around the world can get involved with and buy. So, yes, we have setback today, but don't give up hope. We will recover. It might take a little bit longer after today, but we will recover. And, who knows? We still have the Ethereum Merge coming. That is coming either tonight or tomorrow, right? And maybe this will bring some enthusiasm back into the market after Ethereum merges to proof of stake. And we move forward from it. We've been looking forward to this a long time, so that's something else that we have to look forward to. Wait, is today Wednesday? Yeah, I was going to say, if today is Wednesday, a great day to be DCAing. I mean, it's a great day anytime we have a big drop. But, I'm sticking with my schedule, so tomorrow I'll be DCAing. But we'll see where today goes. All right, guys, I got to let you go. I am going to be going on Coffee and Crypto in about 10 minutes. If you want to hear me talk more about crypto with Tim and the guys, be sure to tune in. All right, so to conclude, yeah, today's not good. Take a look. Everything is in red, right? We had a setback. We got another reading for inflation. Horrible readings, in fact. Came in worse than expected, and I know a lot of you guys are feeling pretty down about this, but just know that Yeah, headwinds are still strong. We still have a lot of macro conditions that we have to face, and it's not good. But not all is lost. Stay strong, stay focused, and realize that the situation we're in right now, right, this really bad situation, can be solved if we had better assets, better monetary policy, better, I guess, leadership. And in our case, no leadership, decentralization, right? And those things can be solved with Bitcoin and crypto long term. Short term setback, long term, still the right way to go. So be patient and stay strong, my friends. Smash the like, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. All right? Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye.